did the doctor say?
I didn't go to the doctor.
What do you mean you didn't go to the doctor?
After I showered and shaved, I felt better. There's no reason to go.
Billy Joe, you are making a big mistake.
I feel all right, Ruby.
I saw you this morning. You couldn't even drag yourself out of bed.
Yeah, it must have been one of them 24-hour viruses or something.
Well, I've never seen a 24-hour virus that made people double over and turn white the way you did yesterday. Especially the way it came on you all of a sudden.
Ruby, will you let up, huh? I'm fine.
Well, maybe you are now, but I think you should go have it checked out. Something wrong with you.
I'll tell you what's wrong with me. It's all this crazy business we got going on here at the TV station. What with a drunk Phil Roberts and a sister that makes me a nervous wreck, always getting herself in some mess or other. That's what's wrong with me.
How do you feel?
I am a very nervous person, Elliot.
Well, I think that's natural. This is your first time on television.
Last night I dreamed that they asked me the first question, and I opened my mouth and nothing came out.
Well, that's the performer's nightmare, but it rarely happens.
Oh, I wish I'd had a chance to talk to Phil about the boutique beforehand.
Well, unfortunately, there isn't time. Anyway, he likes spontaneous, off-the-cuff discussions. Oh. Don't worry. Everything's going to be all right.
I don't know. Phil Roberts has a reputation for going after people
Yeah, well, that's
sometimes.
not going to happen because Billy Joe is going to be sitting right there next to you.
How about those little potatoes with parsley and butter?
Those are frozen potatoes. Vivi.
Well, who will know?
I will know. Lacey gone to the station?
Yep.
Will she be back for dinner?
Probably not. Things are a little hectic at the studio these days.
Oh, I hope she isn't being overworked.
Well, apparently, Mr. Phil Roberts has been acting kind of bonkers lately.
What do you mean, bonkers?
He's very unhappy with Billy Joe Wright. He thinks Billy Joe's trying to take over his show.
Oh, I hope Lacey doesn't become involved in any political intrigue. It's so distasteful.
Lacey told me who's going to be on the show this afternoon. You might be interested.
Oh, I don't think so. I like Mr. Roberts, but his guests are things like dancing fleas.
Paige Carrington's going to be a guest.
Paige?
Texas, starring Beverly McKinsey.
Billy Joe, I don't think that's a very nice way to talk to the sister who got you the job as co-host on the Phil Roberts show and who happens to be negotiating a very lucrative contract for you.
Look, Ruby, I don't mean to seem ungrateful, but you got to understand, I'm not in the best of moods today, all right?
I do understand, and that's why I think you should have gone to see the doctor this morning.
I didn't go to the doctor because I knew the way I was feeling. The doctor would have told me not to do the show today.
Look, honey, I know you're a trooper, but there is nothing wrong with missing one show if you're sick. It is not going to ruin your career.
I'm not worried about it ruining my career.
Then what's the problem?
Paige Carrington's doing the show today.
So? Phil Roberts can handle that interview.
I promised Paige I'd be there to help her plug her boutique, and I'm not going to let her down.
I wonder if this decision has anything to do with Nita.
It's got nothing to do with Nita. It's got nothing to do with Nita. I haven't even talked to her.
Yeah, but Nita works for Paige now. And if the boutique fails, Nita's going to be out of a job.
Then she'd find another one.
On the other hand, if the boutique is a success, then Nita's going to be very grateful to you. She might even come back to you.
I don't want Nita to come back to me. I'm through with Nita. I told you that and I meant it.
You got her the job at the boutique.
That was before Nita divorced me. Before she stopped being part of my life.
Well, I hope you mean that, Billy Joe, because things are really starting to happen for you now. You're going to make $150,000 this year. Now, Nita's not classy enough for you.
Now, look, Ruby, I know you're my sister, and I love you. I really do. But I got to tell you something. You really get on my nerves.
I am only telling you this because I care.
Yeah, well, do me a favor, huh? Today's gonna be a long day, so go easy on me.
Well, you're right about one thing.
What's that?
Your nerves. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think the only thing wrong with you is that your nerves are all frazzled.
Well, I can't argue with you about that.
Well, it's no wonder after all that's been happening to you. I mean, first you're made co-host of the Phil Roberts show. Then Phil shows up drunk. And then he has the nerve to accuse me of being the one who...
Look, Ruby, if you don't mind, I'm going to go to my dressing room and try to get some rest here.
Sure. I was going to suggest that.
You tell Ben where I am?
Okay. I will.
When were we supposed to meet with the producers?
Not for a long time. Ben said he would meet you here in the office and take you down to the green room.
The green room?
Yeah, that's where people are going to be on the show. Wait until they go on the show.
Well, considering how I feel, that's very apropos.
You want some tea to calm you?
No, thanks. I'm sorry I came so early, Elliot. I was just driving Nita crazy at the boutique.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind, you know that. Listen, have any of the charities let you know if they're going to sponsor the opening yet?
No, not yet. It would seem to me it would be a very simple matter, but they seem to have all this red tape involved.
You'd think that one of them would realize what a great opportunity it is for funds and publicity.
You would think. Well, at least several of them have promised to let me know this afternoon, so...
Any of them look like they'll come through?
One looks promising.
Listen, I have an idea.
What?
Instead of sitting here and worrying yourself, why don't we go have some lunch?
Oh, I don't know if I can eat anything, Elliot. But if I sit here much longer, I'm going to jump right out of my skin. I think it might be good to move around a little bit.
Well, in that case, I have another idea.
What?
Well, there's a playground and the school next door to the station.
A playground?
Mm-hmm. We could go play on the swings. If you don't mind regressing to your childhood for about half an hour.
I'm already there. I feel rather silly about how I'm reacting.
Oh,
to
I
this
don't
whole
think you're being
interview
silly.
thing.
I think I'm being silly.
I really do thank you for everything you've done for me.
Now, listen, like I said the other day, all the thanks I need is for you to make a success out of this boutique. In spite of Iris. Now, let's go.
Okay, to the playground.
Absolutely.
To a playground, really?
How on earth did Paige get booked on the Phil Roberts show?
Billy Joe Wright told Ben about her.
Billy Joe. Well, why would he tell whoever Ben is about Paige?
Apparently they're friends. His ex-wife works with Paige now.
How do you know that?
Mr. Carrington told me.
I don't understand why Mr. Roberts would want that woman on his show.
Oh, this is just a last-minute thing. They had some dead time because somebody canceled. Apparently, people have been canceling all week because... Because what? Because Mr. Roberts, it seems to me, has been a little tipsy lately.
On the air?
Yes, he slurs his words. He runs on and on. What are you thinking, Mrs. Wheeler?
What time does that show go on?
1 o'clock.
Oh, there's still time.
There's still time for what?
Never you mind.
Who are you calling, Mrs. Wheeler?
Vicky Bellman.
These letters need to be signed right away.
Okay. Phil Roberts is sober today.
Oh, that's good. How do you know that?
I just wandered up to the 3rd floor and checked him out.
Meredith, we do not own that show.
No, but it runs on our station.
And we try not to interfere.
I wasn't interfering. I was just checking on things.
I hope you were discreet.
They hardly knew I was there.
All right.
You know, I think old Phil Roberts is losing it.
I think you're right.
Billy Joe Wright sure did a nice job covering for Phil.
Yes, he did.
The audience likes him better than Phil.
No one was at the desk, so I'm inviting myself in.
Oh, sweet Meredith.
How nice to see you.
I haven't seen you since the governor's reception.
That's right. Hello, Vicky.
Hello, Iris.
Well, I've got work to do. It was nice seeing you, Mrs. Wheeler.
Thank you. What a lovely girl.
Yes, she is. Well, this is a nice surprise. Iris, please sit down.
Thank you. Well, how do you feel about your daughter's being a working director of World Oil?
Well, I have very mixed feelings about that.
I'm sure she's quite capable.
I don't doubt she's capable, but
I think Rena will be a valuable asset to the company.
I hope you're right. So, what can I do for you?
I've been working on the fundraising campaign for the children's wing at the hospital.
Yes, I know.
Well, we're having a bazaar next week, and I'd like to go on the Phil Roberts show and talk about it this afternoon.
Millie, have you seen Phil? Is he up in makeup?
I haven't seen him all morning.
Well, he must be around here someplace. I just spoke with him a while ago.
Was he sober?
Yes.
Let's hope he stays that way. One more performance like he gave the other day, and we'll all be out of jobs.
Now, look, Millie, he's going to be fine. Hello? Oh, hello, Mrs. Bellman. Yes? Well, I think we can arrange that. Will you let me get right back to you? That was Mrs. Bellman.
I thought you called her Vicky.
She used her Mrs. Bellman tone, and so I adjusted. She wants me to find a place for Iris Wheeler on the show today. She has some charity thing she wants to promote.
I thought Mrs. Bellman never interfered with the show.
When a charity is concerned, she has no shame. You know, she's one of the biggest fundraisers in all of Texas.
I can't imagine anyone like Mrs. Wheeler wanting to appear with Phil Roberts.
Millie, this is one of the hottest local shows in Houston.
You don't think any of her friends actually watch the show, do you?
I don't know. Look, Mrs. Bellman says that the charity bazaar is next week, and that's why Mrs. Wheeler wants to talk about it so much. I just sew on this for a while.
Come in. Oh, great. Just what I need.
Believe me, the feeling's mutual.
Now, what are you doing
I want to
here?
know if you talked to Ruby yet.
Yeah, I talked to her. And she denied the whole thing.
I didn't expect her to admit it.
Then why'd you ask?
Because I'm not sure you're still not behind the whole thing.
Give me a break, will you? I don't feel well today.
My heart bleeds for you.
Ruby showed me the thermos in her purse. It was just coffee.
Obviously, she refilled it.
I think you should forget about the whole thing.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd like it. I'd like it a lot. I'd like to be left in peace.
I hear you managed to slip a friend of yours on the show.
It was a cancellation and we needed somebody.
You should have come to me. I still run this show. As long as it's called the Phil Roberts Show, I'll continue to run it.
You weren't around at the time.
You think you're taking the show away from me, don't you? And you think I don't see it, do you?
I'll tell you what I think. I think I need a little rest right now, so I'd appreciate it if you just walk right back out the door, just like you walked in.
I want to tell you something.
What?
I'm going to give that friend of yours a rough time on the show today.
What do you mean?
I mean just what I said.
You can't do that.
Watch me.
Paige Carrington is one heck of a nice lady. She's had a rough time of it lately, and I'm not going to let
What are you going to do? Get me drunk again? That's not going to work.
I'm not going to let you get away with it.
Your days on this show are numbered, Billy Joe. I want you to remember that.
Meredith, where is the Austin file? Oh, TJ has it. He's down in legal. TJ? I thought he was in Washington with Stryker.
No, he just flew back this morning. What's Iris Wheeler doing here?
Oh, she's going to appear on the Phil Roberts show this afternoon.
Why?
She's promoting a bazaar to help raise money for the children's wing at the hospital. What's wrong?
No, nothing. It just surprises me that Iris would want to appear with Phil.
Hello, TJ.
Hi, Vicky. Meredith.
Hey, TJ.
How is that husband of mine?
Well, you talk to him 6 times a day.
I know, and he says he's just fine, but...
He's fine. He's taking care of himself.
Oh, don't forget about that Austin file. We'll need it later. I have to go down to editing. You owe me a dinner.
I won't forget. We straightened out that problem at the Colorado station.
Oh, you know, I'm beginning to regret the day I bought that station. There's just been one problem after another.
Well, they're all ironed out now and everything's fine. I hope.
TJ, Stryker told me that you declined to go to London to work on the Hopkins case.
You surprised?
Yes, I am. I thought you'd be getting restless by now.
Well, not yet. You think that's a sign of old age settling in?
No, I don't think so. Hello, sweetheart. Hello.
Hi, Rena.
Hello,
Oh,
TJ.
excuse me.
Well, how have you been?
Fine, thank you.
I haven't seen you since Iris's party.
That's right. Did you have a good time in Washington?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw a lot of old friends of mine. It was real nice. Look, I'm going to be in town for a while. Why don't we get together for dinner?
Yes, that might be nice in time.
How about tonight?
No, not tonight, thank you.
Tomorrow night? I'll call you.
Oh, what was that all about?
Nothing.
Next time I think we'll get chocolate.
Oh,
I hope we're not late.
I don't think so. If Ben had already come for us, he'd have left a message with my secretary. Thank you.
I'm not really sure I care, Elliot.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, not really.
Oh.
I haven't had so much fun in such a long time.
I know, I'd forgotten how high you can go in one of those swings.
I thought you were going to take a full circle there for a minute.
Oh, childhood. I wouldn't go through any of that again. No, what are you thinking about?
Not important.
About the show?
About Dennis.
Well, there's no need to worry about him. I spoke with Dr. Jeffries yesterday. He's very pleased with Dennis's progress.
Good. You were right, Elliot, when you said we had to talk.
Well, I still think we should, but I don't think this is the time.
So much has happened. It's just so easy not to deal with it.
Deceptively easy. I think that's what happened to Dennis. He couldn't face the fact that he still cared about you. That's why he felt betrayed by me.
I still care very much about you.
And I care a great deal about you, too. But I see now why Dennis felt he was betrayed.
All right. Wrong time to talk, but we will, right?
We will. There's Ben.
Uh-oh, there goes my stomach.
Hello, Elliot.
How are you, Ben?
Mrs. Carrington. How do you feel? A little nervous?
Yeah.
No need to be. I just came by to let you know that there'd be another little change, yet another, in our show this afternoon. I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind. I'm just very grateful for the chance to appear.
Well, what's the change exactly?
Well, we've added one more guest, someone I think you know, Iris Wheeler.
Who is it?
It's me.
Go away.
Are you all right? Billy Joe, what's wrong? What's wrong?
I feel like a truck just ran over me.
You don't have a fever.
Well, I guess it's just a case of nerves.
Well, honey, have you been like this ever since I left you?
Oh, I had a visitor.
Who?
Phil Roberts came in here and started an argument with me. And right after he left, man, I had that sharp acute pain. It started right in my stomach. And then I felt like my whole body was on fire.
Oh, I'm gonna go get a doctor right now.
No, you can't do that.
Look, Billy Joe, your health is more important than one show.
I gotta do that show.
Look, I know you're still worried about Paige, but Phil can take care of that interview just fine.
Ruby, Phil told me he's going after Paige.
Now, why would Phil do a thing like that?
Because Paige is a friend of mine?
Well, I'm sure Paige can take care of herself.
No! I'm gonna be all right.
Oh, sure you're gonna be all right, Billy Joe. You can't even stand up.
I'm gonna do that show. And then if I don't feel better, I promise you, I'll go to the doctor. But I'm not gonna let Phil ruin Paige's chances of making a success of that boutique.
Mrs. Wheeler, this is Phil Roberts.
How do you do, Mr. Roberts?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Wheeler.
I want to thank you for accommodating me on such short notice.
It's no trouble at all.
I'm very interested in this particular charity and would like to publicize it as much as possible.
What charity is that?
It's the Children's Wing at Gulf Coast Hospital.
Please sit down, Mrs. Wheeler.
I love children, and we're here to do good as well as entertain.
Now, Mrs. Wheeler, since we put you on the show to accommodate you, I'm afraid that we won't be able to give you quite as much time as we normally would.
Oh, I understand.
Oh, I think we can find a few moments for Mrs. Wheeler.
Well, Phil...
Let me see the lineup, Ben. Well, we got this girl singer who's not very good. We can give her one song instead of two, and then we got that Paige Carrington woman.
Paige Carrington?
Yes. She's your daughter-in-law, isn't she?
My ex-daughter-in-law.
Well, I thought we'd have Mrs. Wheeler on the first half hour and Mrs. Carrington on the second half.
Well, Paige and I are not on the best of terms, but I don't mind sharing a segment with her. For the sake of the children, of course.
Well, I thought that it would work better in different segments.
Ben, why don't you get Mrs. Wheeler a cup of tea?
Sure, and I'll show you where the makeup room is at the same time.
Ben, you get her a cup of tea, and I'll chat with her about the Children's Wing. She's not going to need much makeup. She looks absolutely gorgeous. Mrs. Wheeler, I gather you don't like your ex-daughter-in-law very much.
I loathe her.
Honey, why don't you go out to dinner with TJ?
Because I don't want to.
But, sweetheart...
Mama, I'm not ready yet. Please don't push me.
All right, I'm sorry.
Where can I find Margaret Hanson's assistant?
Why do you want to see her?
Well, she wants to ask me a few questions to prepare Margaret for the interview.
You know, honey, I really wish you'd reconsider and just tell Margaret you're not free.
I've already accepted. It's too late. I can't back out now.
Yes, you can. And you should.
Why are you so upset? I'm not going to embarrass you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Mama.
You're certainly not going to look very attractive trading insults with Margaret Hanson.
I'm not going to do that.
Uh-huh.
Has Meredith talked to Cody this afternoon?
Yes, she has. And there hasn't been one word about Barrett and Steve. Have you spoken to Ginny?
Yes, this morning. I tried calling her again before I left for the office, but I guess she was out riding. Excuse me. You'll be looking for this Austin file.
Thanks, Meredith.
I hear you're going to do Margaret's show.
Unless I can talk her out of it.
Do you have any suggestions?
Yes.
Cancel out. Don't do it.
You've been working for Mama so long, you sound just like her.
Does anybody want to take a look at the Phil Roberts show?
Not particularly. I think he's a moron.
Iris is on the show this afternoon.
Why is she on?
Oh, no.
Hey, it's really great to have you here on the show, Paige. Come on over here and have a seat by me.
Thank you, Billy Joe.
Sorry we kept you waiting so long, but I was so interested in Mrs. Wheeler's comments about the children's wing.
Yes, so was I. I do hope people will attend the bazaar. I went last year and had a wonderful time.
Now, the bazaar is open at 10, and it goes until...
8 o'clock.
Write that down, folks. 10 to 8.
So, you must be really busy now, what, with the opening up of your new boutique?
Yes, it is pretty hectic, but very exciting.
Well, tell us about it now. It's in the Galleria.
Yes,
right?
on the second level.
What are you going to do? Sell jeans, that sort of thing?
No, designer clothes.
Well, I can tell by the way you look now here, boy, that place is going to be a real big success.
Thank you, Billy Joe.
I understand you had a brief career in Hollywood as an actress.
Yes.
Now, about the boutique.
That brief, huh? I also understand that you're a good friend of Peter Parnell's in Hollywood. Of course, he's been indicted for murder.
Peter Parnell used to own the Coop. Matter of fact, I was taken in by him for a while, too. He seemed like a nice guy, but the problem is you can't really tell about people sometimes until it's too late. Now, Paige, tell us the name of your place.
Page 1.
That's a great name, ain't it, Phil?
Well, that's all the time we got. Thank you. And special thanks to you, Mrs. Wheeler, for sharing your time with us. And thank you for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
Dave, move this out of here, will you? Just move it. Move it back.
Lacey asked me to give you this. It's a list of the guests on next week's shows.
Any cancellations?
Not so far. Looks like we're going to be all right.
Yeah, as long as Phil holds up.
Seemed to do a pretty good job of cutting up Paige Carrington today.
Do you think he came across mean and vicious?
I thought so. But maybe the audience didn't know what he was doing.
The audience knew. Those people aren't fools.
Thank goodness for Billy Joe. He made things a little easier for Mrs. Carrington.
But not much.
If he had felt better.
Yeah, what was wrong with him?
I don't know. But I thought he was going to pass out right on a set.
Yeah, he looked a little pale to me. Ruby, do you know where Billy Joe is? I have this list of next week's guests for him, and I'd like to give it to him.
He's in his dressing room.
Is he all right?
He's fine.
Well, he looked sort of strange during the show.
If you ask me, everybody in this studio has been looking a little strange lately.
But he's all right, though.
He's a little under the weather, but I think he's going to be fine.
Well, I hope so. The last thing we need is for something to happen to Billy Joe.
Don't worry, the Wrights are troopers. Look, he's just a little upset about what's been going on in the studio the past few days, but it's nothing to worry about.
Meredith, why didn't you let me know that Paige Carrington was scheduled for the show today?
I didn't know. That's the truth.
Mama, I don't understand why you're so upset.
I'm upset because Phil Roberts and your friend Iris have deliberately embarrassed Paige on my television station.
Well, if Paige didn't want her life exposed publicly, then she shouldn't be on television.
Paige was on the show to promote her boutique, not discuss her past life.
Well, maybe her past life is more interesting than her boutique.
You know, sweetheart, we have all made mistakes that we would rather forget.
She sure as hell didn't forget that Parnell man. She moved in with him just as soon as Dennis told her that he wanted a divorce. And as far as her little dress shop is concerned, I doubt that it'll be successful. She doesn't have any taste.
Rena.
She's a tramp, Mama. You know it as well as I do.
Well, Phil Roberts and Iris did their best to give Houston that impression.
Oh, I don't think Iris is to blame. Phil Roberts is the one who asked all the questions.
And how do you suppose he knew what questions to ask?
Listen, Mama, Iris saved Paige's neck the other night at Elliot's party. If it wasn't for Vivian and Iris, half of Houston would have seen that porno film that Paige starred in.
What are you talking about?
Well, didn't you know what happened?
No. Tell me.
Dennis was going to show that porno film, but Iris double-crossed him, and that's why we saw the films of Dennis when he was a baby. Apparently, Vivian had switched the cassettes at the last minute. I'm sorry, I thought you knew.
Do you mean Iris actually agreed to give that party so Dennis could embarrass Paige?
Well, I'm sure she didn't plan for it to go that far.
I don't believe that she could even pretend to go along with it.
Mama, she only did the thing that she thought was best.
Didn't she know how ill Dennis was?
No, she didn't. And she feels very bad about it. It was Paige's fault. She did that to Dennis. She's the one who's responsible for Iris being blackmailed, and she's responsible for Dennis going to prison for Chris Shaw's murder.
Iris could have gone to the police. And Dennis...
Mama, Dennis loved Paige from the very beginning, but she was so concerned about her pocketbook that she couldn't be honest with him. And then when Dennis found out what kind of person she really was, well... no wonder he cracked up.
Thanks, Ed. Well, Iris, there you are. I was looking for you.
Oh, I was in Mr. Roberts' office, thanking him for the chance to appear on his show.
You're very pleased with yourself, aren't you?
Very.
You know, I would think that even you would get tired of revenge after a while.
Not until the job is done.
But you do think at least that this public embarrassment is enough?
After what Paige has done to my son, I couldn't begin to do enough.
But Dennis is going to be fine. Dr. Jeffrey says he's making excellent progress.
I'm glad of that.
I don't think he would at all approve of what you're doing.
I don't intend to discuss it with him.
Well, what if he saw the show today? There's a TV in his room. Do you think his progress would be helped seeing the shabby campaign his mother is waging in his name?
I'm not going to let you lay all of this at my doorstep. Paige brought this on herself. I didn't make a pornographic film. I didn't associate with pimps and murderers and drug dealers. That was Paige.
Iris, please, lower your voice.
I will not lower my voice. I am sick of you preaching at me and meddling in something that is none of your concern.
Anything that concerns Paige and or Dennis is my concern.
The fact that you are in love with that tramp is an illness you will have to deal with. I won't be dragged into that.
I should have known it was no use to talk to you.
Not when I know I'm right. And I am. But I want to assure you that none of my friends will be tricked into patronizing any boutique that woman owns. I'm going to close down the Page One boutique before it even opens.
Always nice to see you.
Rena, I'm appalled that you would condone Iris's behavior.
Now, wait a minute. I am not condoning it. I'm just trying to explain Iris' side of the story. Dennis is her son, she loves him, and she's only trying to protect him.
Well, destroying Paige is not going to help Dennis.
Might.
It won't. And I don't want you to get involved in Iris's campaign against Paige.
I'm not getting involved.
Well, you're certainly defending her.
Mama, why are you suddenly feeling so sorry for Paige?
Because she's going after Paige the same way she went after Ryan.
Ryan was innocent.
Rena, I didn't know you were here.
Oh, I just wanted to thank Vicky for her help. Iris, if I had known what you were up to, you would never have appeared on that show.
Now, Vicky.
Did Lacey tell you Paige was appearing on the show today?
She might have mentioned it in passing.
So you hurried down here and used the bazaar as a pretext to embarrass Paige.
Oh, I was very grateful to Mr. Roberts for all the time he gave me to discuss the bazaar. I hope it will produce a large crowd. Well, as for Paige, I didn't embarrass her. I didn't say a word to her.
Well, you obviously had a great deal to say to Phil Roberts before the show. Those questions about her background.
Paige was very big news a while back. When she was arrested for Chris Shaw's murder, I guess Mr. Roberts reads the papers.
Iris, did you tell Phil about the porno film that Paige made?
Certainly not.
I don't like being used, Iris. And I particularly resent you using my television station to embarrass Paige.
You certainly can't approve of the kind of person Paige is.
The girl has made mistakes, but they're in the past.
No. Those mistakes are still costing my son a great deal. And I intend to see that she pays for them at a great cost to herself.
I think it might have been better if you hadn't said anything to Iris.
You can't let Iris get away with something like that. She'll just turn around and do it again.
That's exactly it, Elliot. She always seems to get away with it.
Oh, maybe I'm just taking out my anger toward myself on her.
Why in heaven's name should you be angry with yourself?
Because I blame myself for what happened.
Elliot, that's absurd.
There was trouble at the studio between Billy Joe and Phil Roberts.
That show isn't KVIK's responsibility. You told me
But
that.
if I'd been on top of things, I never would have let you appear on it. I wouldn't even have suggested the idea.
Do you think the interview was that damaging?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It's just the idea.
Well, I think it was a wonderful idea. How could you have known what would happen?
Well, I could have prepared you better. I could have acquainted you with Bill Roberts
Elliot,
beforehand.
stop it, please. There was no time to prepare. I was the one that was anxious about it.
All right.
All right?
Yeah, all right.
I better call Nita and tell her I'm on my way to the boutique, okay?
Help us out. I'll make this up to you some way.
There's nothing to be made up. Nita, hi. How you doing? Yeah, I'm at KVIK. I'm on my way over. You saw it. Where did you ever find a television? Did it look that terrible? Well, that's very sweet of you. Is there anything else I should know about? When did that happen? Okay. Yeah, I see. All right, I'll see you shortly.
Nita saw the show?
Yes. She said I was much more beautiful than Iris.
She's right. What's wrong?
2 of the charities that I'd been counting on called, Elliot. They said they won't be sponsoring the opening of the boutique after all.
Ben sent the guest list for next week.
Put them on the desk.
Billy Joe, are you all right?
I most definitely am not all right.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to faint. Then I feel queasy to my stomach. Then I feel hot, and then I'm freezing the next minute.
What have you had to eat today?
I haven't eaten most of anything. The way I've been feeling.
You don't have a fever.
I think I'll be all right. I just need to take it easy for a while, that's all.
I think you should go straight to the doctor.
So, how'd you like the show?
I'm awfully sorry about what happened to your friend, Mrs. Carrington.
Yeah, I feel terrible about it, too.
Well, you did what you could, Billy Joe.
No, I didn't. Phil Roberts took control of the show away from me. By the time Paige came on, it was too late.
I hope she knows everybody on this show isn't as rude as Phil Roberts.
I'm sure she knows that. Thanks for coming by.
Hi, Billy Joe. I just stopped by to talk to you about tomorrow's show.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the show, tomorrow's show, by the way I'm feeling right now.
Billy Joe, what is wrong?
Ben?
I'm right here, Billy Joe.
Billy Joe!
Oh, my God.
Billy Joe!
Hey, somebody get a doctor, quick! Something's happened to Billy Joe!
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Texas.